This episode is brought to you by Naked Fig Soap. Shop over a dozen handcrafted artisan soaps locally sourced and made in Arizona using the finest non-toxic intentional ingredients. Naked Fig Soap also offers facial care products along with accessories like soap dishes, soap saver bags, and more.
Visit their website at nakedfigsoap.com and use code DRUMMINGUP, all one word, for 20% off online orders. And that is the best place to find her now.
Yes.
She doesn't really have a storefront so much as she has
As of right now.
Yeah, as of right now,
Yes.
she has her products in certain locations,
Yes.
which again is the best place to find her is at her nakedfigsoap.com website
Yes.
or her socials. Instagram is a great spot to find her. Ask her any questions where she's going to be at like a farmer's market.
Yes.
You can find all that out. Or
But coming up, she's
Yeah.
moving to bigger and better opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. And we're very happy to hear that because,
Yes.
we just want to make
She's one
sure
of our
she's doing
favorite,
okay.
favorite companies.
Oh, yeah. Whenever we're getting low, we always place our order.
Yes.
And again, use that code drumming up,
Yes.
all one word, to get that 20% off discount.
For sure.
nakedfigsoap.com. It'll be in the show notes. We'll have her website. And then the best thing to do is from the website, go find her socials, follow her. That helps her. And by you doing that, it helps us because we know you're listening. We know you're buying her great products. She also offers tattoo care and everything too.
Yes,
so
she does.
just a ton of stuff that she does. It's all locally made and everything. So what was that website again?
That is nakedfigsoap.com.
Using code drumming
Drumming
up,
Up.
all one word, for 20% off at checkout.
Hi there, this is Julian of Gorad, and you are listening to Drumming Up Conversation. Hell yeah.
Drumming up conversation. Drumming up, yeah. Drumming up, drumming up conversation. Drumming up, drumming up, drumming up conversation. Drumming up, drumming up, drumming up conversation. Drumming up, drumming up, drumming up conversation. Yeah!
Hello and welcome to Drumming Up Conversation. I'm Justin Wood.
I'm Andrea Wood. Intro and outro music is provided by Arizona prog metal band Temporal Displacement. You can find their music anywhere you listen to your favorite music. You can email us at drummingupconversation@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Drumming Up Conversation, and on X at Drum Conversing. You can find our audio podcasts on Spotify. Please make sure to
Or Apple.
follow, or Apple, or anywhere
Anywhere
you
you
listen to your
yeah.
favorite podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, download, give us a rating, a review, tell a friend, all the good stuff.
Yeah, and obviously YouTube. We're doing everything on YouTube now as well, even in studio and all that. We've gotten better at doing video. Eventually, we'll upgrade, and we'll get into why we will be able to do that soon in a few minutes. So, but yeah, we'll get right into that. And yeah, so I got a job.
Yay!
Yay! I'll be working for an airport, a local smaller airport. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, even in the offer phone call, the guy even said, I want this to be fun. You seem like it's gonna be a lot of fun, and so I'm like, hell yeah!
Yay.
So I got a job. So yeah, we'll
like
be
wings for you.
so we'll be slowly upgrading in here now that got that. I'll be making more an hour. And, I wouldn't say like a better shift, but not a bad shift either.
Yeah.
I get to go in later, which is good. So everything won't be
No
so-
more 4:45 mornings. Unless
Yeah.
they ever want you to come in early in the morning. Which
Yeah,
is fine.
which is fine. I can adjust to that.
Yeah.
No problem. So, but yeah.
What would you rather do? Work early in the morning or later in the day?
Oh, early morning.
Early morning,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Especially with this, because then it gives us the freedom to schedule guests and stuff, especially like East Coast and stuff when people are doing that.
Right.
But yeah, so that's fun. And then so like as soon as I got that job offer and everything, you called and I said, hey, because you had mentioned like, hey, I can take any day off this week or any day
Yeah,
off this
my
week.
this week was light because there's no payroll, no credit card statement, nothing like
So
that.
as soon as I got that job offer, I had you call. I said, hey, whenever you want to leave, if you want to take the rest of the week off, if you can, let's go celebrate and have some fun. And
Boy, did we.
boy, did we, yeah. I mean, we went out with our friends at Fear Frontier last on Wednesday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Matt's become a cigar aficionado
Aficionado.
now. So we've been doing that. I went to a couple of cigar bars and had some drinks and hung out with them. And that was a lot of fun. Just no agenda, nothing, just hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
And we've got more stuff set up with them too. And then yesterday, which would have been Friday, we went to the kid took the day off. So we went out to the wrestling store
In
in
Phoenix.
Phoenix, which was awesome.
So fun.
So
So
cool.
much fun.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back. We're gonna have him on
However,
sometime.
we did get a standee cut out of Rhea Ripley,
Mhm.
and Grenache is not happy with
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna have to set it up and just let her get used to it.
Because she's barking at it.
She just doesn't understand it, like why it's human, but it's not moving or talking.
She's standing like this, so I guess that's a threatening pose, maybe.
I think it's just she doesn't understand it. Like
Yeah.
it's a human, but it's not
Yeah.
talking or moving. You have to move. Why are you moving it? Kind of. I don't know. It'd be one of those times I like to be able to find out what they're thinking.
Yeah, it freaks her out
Freaked her
though.
out. But other than that, it was a lot of fun.
Got some cool pops.
Got some cool cards and
Got a
pops. and
Chelsea green shirt.
Chelsea Green shirt.
Super
Yeah, it was
excited
fun.
about it.
We're gonna have him on. He was super excited for
Cool,
it.
cool.
It's just, yeah, finally someone we could talk wrestling with.
Yeah.
Someone that's been in it for a long time, has met a lot of people. He has guests out there all the time.
Mhm.
So we'll be going out for those too.
Then we went to Fountain Hills,
We went to Fountain Hills finally.
and that has, what was it, the largest fountain in
In
the
the
United States?
Country, I believe. Yeah. I
It's
took
really
video. I
cool.
haven't posted it yet, but I took video and stuff like that. So I'll post those probably today. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Went to an antique store. We went to a really cool book and music store
Yeah.
that we just happened to find. We're just walking around. We went to a great Greek restaurant before that.
So good.
And then we're like, let's go walk around for a little bit, not just get in the car and head home, whatever. And then we found that bookstore, and I got a copy of The Godfather, which I found out was, because that's like a big retirement community and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And so I guess when people pass away, they sometimes get invited to go look at their books and buy them and then be able to resell them and stuff. So I got one of those, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really nice copy of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not a first pressing, but it's a significant pressing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was really cool.
Fountain Hills is definitely Scottsdale adjacent.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money in Fountain Hills for sure. But the Greek
Yeah.
restaurant was so nice because it overlooked the fountain and
Mhm.
lake.
And we got to find out that it runs every hour for 15 minutes.
Mhm.
So
On
that
top
was
of the
really
hour,
cool.
yep.
So we got to watch it from there, and then when we got done, we caught it as soon as we parked. We caught it when it was about to go off, so we got to get it like right as it started and like right next to it, pretty
We
much.
love to see it at night because
It glows and stuff.
It
It lights up, yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. We finally got to do that because we wanted to do that for a while.
And
But
extenuating circumstances. Every time we planned to go to Fountain Hills, something came up
Mhm.
until we were going to try Bisbee, but it's a 3-hour drive there, a 3-hour drive back. We didn't want to leave Grenache out because there's 6 hours of drive time.
yeah,
And then the kid, she has to give her cat meds
mhm.
at a certain time. So it's like,
We need to set it up, plan it better, maybe stay overnight or
night
something,
where-
and then have someone that can
Yeah.
watch her cat or
Mhm.
something when we do
Yeah.
that. Figure it out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, so it's been a fun week. We just got to just do
Even
whatever.
Monday, we got to go to the arcade with your keyboardist.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
We went out to lunch.
he was like, "Hey man, let's go do something. Let's get you guys out of the house for a little bit or whatever. We had the day off." And like, all right. So we went to an arcade. That was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
It wasn't very busy, which was nice.
Yeah.
So we got to play a bunch of games, play a bunch of pinball and video games and all that. Had a lot of fun there. And then we went to get some food after. That was a fun day. And then yeah, the next morning, because he knew I was like just kind of a little depressed and bummed out and just having issues. And then yeah, the next day got the job offer and like went full 180. Just like, all right, cool. Like it's the job I wanted. And then 3 hours later, the other job that I was, you know, if I didn't get the other one, I was fine with. They called and was like, sorry, I got offered another job and stuff like that. Like, you guys, they kept pushing stuff back and everything. And they wanted to hire me for something else.
Yeah,
and
they
it
were
was
gonna hire you for the position you wanted. And
Mhm.
yeah.
And it was fine. If I didn't have this other job offer, I would have taken it, but I'd rather have this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we are having Mr. Chad Gracey on today to talk about this album, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And as soon as he comes on, we will get started on the episode. All right, so today we're doing the album Throwing Copper. We're talking with Chad Gracey about it, and we're really excited about this to get the insight of how one of my favorite, if not my favorite albums was done. So, when did you go into the studio?
That's a good question. It was in 94, summer of 94? No. So, that's great. Maybe it's summer of 93. I forget when we recorded it. Came out in 94, so
Mhm.
I remember it was summertime. We were recorded in Cannon Falls, Minnesota.
Mhm.
So it had to be in the end of summer 93.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how old were you guys?
Oh, so 93, I turned 21 and I turned 20 in 1991. So
Okay.
93 is like 20, it's 22, 23. I was
Okay.
just 24 when it came out, I think. So
Okay. Nice. So you got to party a little
23.
bit when you're doing it. Nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it was recorded at Pachyderm, right? Pachyderm
That's correct,
Studios?
yes.
Okay, cool. And did you guys stay there during the recording?
Yeah, it was a residential studio. They had bedrooms there and
Okay.
another separate guest house. Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, because I saw some pictures of it online. I was like, I don't know if it looked like that back in 93, 94, but was it pretty similar to what it is
I
now?
haven't looked at it lately. Is there a
Oh,
website?
okay. There
Still
is,
up and
yeah.
running? I heard
Uh-huh.
they closed.
Oh, yeah.
Let me
I was
look
able
at
to find. Yeah, I was able to find it. It was like brick all around it and everything else, and it looked gorgeous. So,
Yeah, it was like a 60s house,
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
like
it's really cool
60s
looking.
architecture. Oh yeah, it looks pretty similar to this.
Okay.
Yeah, with the stone and
hmm
that's cool to see they're still open. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, they got a picture of Nirvana on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nirvana recorded in utero right before, like
Mhm.
sometime before us.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I hadn't looked at it forever.
Yeah. No worries. I was just curious if they've updated it or if it looked like that when you guys were there. So.
No, it was kind of that, like I said, it was kind of like that 60s retro vibe, and it still looks like the same, which is kind of hip now.
Yeah. That's
You know?
exactly. Yeah. Good thing they didn't change it because now it's like really cool and classic and everything. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that there in Minnesota, it was summer, like I said, because we had these crazy thunderstorms.
hmm
And I remember the whole sky turned green at one point. We're just like, what the frick is this?
Oh.
It was wild. Like emerald, like the whole sky was like emerald green. We're like, I've never seen this in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I wonder what
Yeah.
causes that.
I don't know. It was super dark and weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
How small was York when you were growing up? Or
It's
how
about
big
the
was
same size it is now. I mean, there's 50,000 people live in the city and another 50,000 approximately outside the city in the suburbs.
Was it a
Um,
kind of a big thing for York when did news spread? Oh my God, Chad Gracey's going to record an album.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were getting press back then. We hadn't released the song "Shit Town" yet, so that caused a big controversy. But yeah, we got some press for doing Mental Jewelry. Starting to got played on MTV. So yeah, the papers were kind to us at that point, and sometime after, probably starting at around Distance to Here, the York press became kind of, I don't know. York's a weird place. Like people if someone in York is successful outside of York, people kind of shit on them. It's
Mhm.
weird.
Really?
It's a weird
Huh.
place. Yeah. People have a weird mentality in York, so
Interesting.
so sometimes the papers will follow suit on that. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Did you guys write any of the Throwing Copper songs with the Mental Jewelry sessions at all, or was there any that kind of make that album that went on to Throwing Copper?
I don't remember exactly. We may have worked on ideas while we were on the road for Mental Jewelry.
Okay.
In fact, I'm sure we probably did. I can't remember any specific songs, but we wrote most of it in end of 90, end of 92 up into 93 before we started recording in Lancaster. We had a rehearsal spot that was right in downtown Lancaster, kind of like the bottom floor had a futon place in it, but the rest of the building, it was like a 4-story building, was abandoned. So we were set up on the second or third floor, and that's where we wrote the majority of all the songs.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And what do you remember most about recording it in and out of the studio?
I remember we got there and something was going on with the wiring in the studio, so our engineer had to friggin' rewire a lot of stuff, and so we hurried up and waited for that to be done. We had we did have a big publishing fight that at the studio.
Oh,
Ed almost quit the band there.
wow.
Yeah, that was interesting. Because in the Mental Jewelry, we had split it. We were splitting publishing 25%, whatever, and then Ed decided he wanted or deserved more, whichever it was. I don't know. And so we had a big fight about that. And yeah, he actually, I don't think he got in his car and left, but he almost did. And then I remember we were recording Damn It Otter Creek, and there was a big thunderstorm going on while we were doing that. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Nice.
Who is the peacekeeper for the band?
Generally Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't a lot of, didn't have a lot of fights. Like, in fact, the only guys that ever physically fought were Chad and Ed.
Yeah.
A couple times in school. But like there was, other than that, like publishing battle, there was not a lot of disagreement.
Okay.
Generally.
Like when we watched Metallica, Some Kind of Monster, is like Kirk Hammett was always the one who's like, okay, guys, come on, let's stop.
Between Lars and James.
He was always the peacekeeper.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Did you work with any particular engineer the most on the recording, like drum specific and everything?
No, there was one engineer. His name was Lou Giordano. He recorded everything.
Okay.
And then he actually did a few mixes that we didn't like, and that's how we brought in Tom Lord Alge to mix Thorny Copper, which, you know, he knocked it out of the park. And what you hear is the classic sound that Tom created.
Okay. Did you have any say with the drums being recorded, like, you know, certain sounds and everything?
Oh yeah, full autonomy on drums. Yeah,
cool.
Always.
Because I know some people are like, no, I know this studio the best, and I know what the sound, you know, stuff like that. So that a lot of times you don't have as much say. So
I mean, in the studio, I would set up. I would play. You know, we'd get the drum set up, get all the drum sounds. I'll play a little bit. I go in and listen. I say, you know, tweak this, tweak that. And you know, in the end, when mixing happens, like Tom Lord Alge replaced a lot of my snare with other stuff anyway. So it, you know, a lot of that stuff can be fixed in mixes anyway. But I like to have at least a good solid sound that I'm liking before we start laying tracks. Yeah.
Okay. And did you have a favorite place to eat? Or strip club?
I just love the way that was worded. Favorite place to eat?
There was
a strip club.
Yeah.
Well, because I know a little bit.
Strip club.
He's talked about it before on other his podcasts, so I'm just curious. I want to get a little bit more if we can on it.
I just always like the wording of your question.
Oh, I know it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Favorite place to eat? Strip club. Yeah. You can do both in a strip club.
I can't remember specific places to eat. There was the studio was outside of Cannon Falls. Cannon Falls is a little town, and they had like farmers markets and stuff. And there's a few places there to eat, but I can't remember the names of any of them. But there was a strip club called Clowns that we would go to all the time.
It's an interesting.
And it was like,
strip club.
Yeah, it was I was again in the middle of freaking nowhere, and it was like a building sitting in the middle of nowhere, like literally in fields. So you just go in there and see some Minnesota strippers. I don't know if they serve food, but they may have.
I've heard some strip clubs have actually really good food. So
yeah,
some have like lobsters and steak and all kinds.
I
of
lived
stuff.
in Portland,
down
Oregon
KUPD,
for like the high end gentlemen's clubs. But I lived in Portland, Oregon for 10 years, and Portland, Oregon at the time had the most strip clubs per capita of any city in America.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. And they're all like, I just called it like drinks with a view. It wasn't, the stripping wasn't necessarily like the most, I don't know, like the singular thing there. You could just go there and have a drink with your buddies, but then there were naked girls on a stage dancing around. And it wasn't like that was the singular purpose of being there. You could just there hanging out and having drinks. But then they had, girls dancing, and you could just go up to the thing, give them $1, and take off their clothes
Yeah.
right there. And so yeah, a lot of those. So anyway, I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner in strip clubs in Portland.
Wow.
See?
I got to do this. I gotta do this. I've had dinner, I've had lunch, now I gotta have breakfast.
That'll teach you to laugh at the order of my questions, won't it?
We were just up in Scottsdale the other night, and he's like, we could go to some strip clubs while we're up here.
How'd that go over?
I don't care.
She doesn't care.
Oh, okay, that's
I've
fine.
only been to one strip club, and
Yeah.
I wanted to go, and so he took me to one of the strip clubs in Chandler. It was
Yeah.
It's a kind of a weird spot in Chandler, and they made it look like a Scottsdale strip club, and it just doesn't work. It used to be a lot better back in the day, and they made it
When
too
it was sleazy.
hoity-toity now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah,
it doesn't work anymore. Like,
Yeah, they
it
went
needs
for the
to be,
high-end gentleman's
Yeah, it
club
needs to be
that's
more
in
like
Scottsdale.
Yeah, it needs to be more
Yeah.
like Porky's, like
Right. That's what all the Portland strip clubs were. They were kind of like, they weren't the high end ones.
hmm
And if they tried to do that in Portland, it didn't work.
Yeah,
People just weren't used to it. Like, I'm not going, paying $100 for a drink and fucking $20 for a dance. Like,
right.
Exactly, and $40 to get in. Yeah, screw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
no thanks. Yeah,
So it's funny, since I got divorced in 2021, and I haven't been to a strip club since I've been single. So don't even care. At this point, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, it's she had never been, so I was like, let's go. She's like, I'd be curious how it works. I'm like, let's just go to one that's near us and check it out. You can get the feel for it. Whatever, I don't care. So just because I think it is something that everyone should experience just because of what it is.
Sure.
It's just everyone strip club people think, oh my God, it's like people think it's like a brothel or something. It's not quite that. It's a little different, but yeah,
Some of them can be.
they can be. Yeah, and that's why I said people think that. Yeah, some of them can be, but some of them are just what they are too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys write the songs in the order they went on the album on this one, or did you guys
No.
do that later?
I don't think that ever. Oh,
No, it doesn't. But
we didn't. You mean write them and then we wrote Damn It Out of Creek first, and then
yeah, did you guys
talk
do
about that?
Did you guys go in order with how it eventually was on the album, or you guys just kind of write and then figure it out later how the album?
No. I don't think we've
Yeah.
ever done that. I don't know any bands that do that.
don't-
I mean,
yeah.
we just write the songs and
Mhm.
they come out, and then I know. Well, I remember when we wrote "Damn It Out of Creek" and put it together. We're like, "Oh, this is gonna start the record." And then we put together "White Discussion" again at some other place, and we were like, "Oh shit, this is probably gonna close the record." We knew that, but we didn't write them in any order. No.
Okay. Just curious. And who came up with the title?
Actually, Patrick.
Okay.
We were still doing some shows, or we were doing some early shows before the record came out, and we were in Long Island, and this is early, probably '94, sometime the record came out April '94, I believe. So we were in Long Island. We had 2 weeks to name the record before it was the cutoff where we would miss our window to put it out that we had selected or they have given us. And so we were struggling to figure out what it was going to be called. And I don't remember any other names that we came up with at this point, but we were bored. We were at this venue. We went to this mall that was nearby. We bought BB guns and brought them back, and we're all shooting up stuff back in the back of the there's like a little outdoor area for the venue. We're just out there shooting cans, and this Patrick was like, "Yo, we're throwing copper," and we're like, "Shit, that's the name of the record." So, like
Okay.
immediately, yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I did not know that story. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's usually how it happens. Either you are about to fall asleep and you get it in your head and you got to write it down, or something just like that. You're just out
Random,
goofing around
yeah.
and someone said something random, like that's it. So
Mhm.
And we know that Scottish artist Peter Nosen did the cover art. Was that a label choice? And did you guys have
Peter
any say?
Howson is his name.
Howson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Howson.
S-O-N. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that a label choice, or did you guys have a say in it?
Well, both.
Okay.
So again, we were trying to figure out what to put on the record. No one really wanted to put a photo for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And Gary Kurfürst, who had signed us to Radioactive Records, that he was the president of Radioactive Records, which is a subsidiary joint venture with MCA. So we were signed to MCA, but on Radioactive Records. So Gary was a big art collector, and he had some Peter Howson paintings in his house in California. And Peter does really large scale, like sometimes 10 by 10 canvases, so they're really big. Gary had a few just sitting on the floor, laid against the wall. So really cool stuff. And he gave us this art, one of Peter Howson's art books, and he had picked out that painting and said, "I think this is really cool." And when we saw it, we're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Mm-hmm. There's actually two versions of the painting. There's the one that's on the Thorium Copper, and there's another one that's slightly less vibrant colors, but basically the same characters. Everything's basically the same, except it's just a little more, a little darker. And
so that's
what's on the cover. That
on the
painting
cover, yeah.
is in a European collection somewhere, and actually, we bought the other version that's hanging in 210 York Street in York, behind the bar. So
I think you guys recently did you show that on the one where you guys did it in the studio there, you and J-Ro?
Probably, yeah.
I think I want to say
I
you
showed
did
it a few times.
Okay,
yeah.
It sounds familiar. Okay, cool. And did you offer to do any saxophone solos on?
No. I play saxophone in all the school bands, and the last concert we did my senior year, with the concert band or whatever it was, I took all my reeds and I broke them and I put it in the case and I never saw it again.
Fair enough.
I did not. I mean, I played saxophone. I didn't really enjoy playing saxophone, but I don't know. I don't know how I got roped into that, but but I was like first chair in all the bands and stuff, so I was good at it, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, you don't want to do drums. You don't want to do a St. Elmo's Fire, Rob Lowe kind of thing or anything on the album?
Nah.
No, okay.
Nah, I was done with that.
Did you do any backup vocals?
Yes, I sang backups on both Mental Jewelry and Thorium Copper. I Alone, I sang on. And what else? Well, definitely, I'm singing the high part on Horse, the hidden track.
Okay.
And there might be a couple other songs that I sang on Thorium Copper. And during Mental Jewelry, I sang backups and played drums live. But after that tour, I was like, I just want to play drums. I don't want to sing too.
Yeah. Did you enjoy doing it in the studio though, with the backup?
Yes, I had a higher register back then, so I could sing higher parts, so higher harmonies above Ed. Mm-hmm. Not that he couldn't sing them, but it was cool to have different voices. So
for sure.
So yeah.
Okay. And this was released April 26th of 94. It reached #1 in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the U.S. Did you tour those areas where it reached really high? Did you tour like New Zealand and Australia and everything? Or
we did go to New Zealand and Australia, and early on when the record came out, we played a couple clubs and stuff. Mm-hmm. Mostly, I don't think we went to New Zealand on that particular tour. We went to Australia, played a few clubs in Sydney and Melbourne, maybe Brisbane, and later on we went back and played, arenas all over the country, which was amazing. And that's when we hit New Zealand. And but yeah, so yeah, we hit all those places. Canada, U.S. obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of strip clubs, Canada doesn't have like the most strip clubs of anywhere.
Yeah,
like surprising, like because a lot of I'm just like being honest, like Toronto's like I just heard stories like Toronto's like crazy. It's like every other building's like a strip club.
Tons in Montreal and Toronto.
Yeah,
and they used to they have their dollar coin, the loonie, they called, and so people would throw those on stage, and the women would go around with a magnet and pick up all their money. That's how the girls would collect their money. The magnet.
Well, it's better than picking up with something else. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Or unless they had magnets hidden somewhere and they
True.
could pick it up with something
Oh
else.
God.
Yeah.
She said it, not me.
Uh-huh.
Well, so when did you guys go out on tour to support the album? Was it like right after it came out?
I mean, I don't. We were all doing pre record release dates.
hmm
Probably started in, I don't know, February, March. I mean, February or March is when we were in Long Island. So we were out doing stuff before.
Okay.
Probably we did a lot of acoustic stuff at radio stations, at distribution plants for the record company. Lots of stuff like that, promo stuff all over the place. And yeah, when we first started on Throwing Copper, we were out doing clubs, and that was sometime in that spring. And then we in the summer we ended up doing something called the WOMAD tour, and that was with Peter Gabriel. So we're doing we're playing in amphitheaters, outdoor amphitheaters with Peter Gabriel, and Midnight Oil was on that, and
Nice.
that was like his world music tour thing. So there's a bunch of like African bands and stuff on it too, different artists. So that was cool. And then in the fall of '94, I believe that's when we embarked to do our own headline theater tour, because we were starting to gain a lot of steam, and we went and sold out all these theaters. But that's when we were asked to open for U2. And we are one of the few bands in history that declined that
I remember you telling
prestigious
us,
offer. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, maybe we should have done it, but we had booked the theater tour. We were headlining it, and we wanted to establish ourselves as a headliner. And although U2 was like our dream band to friggin' open for, we declined at the time. And I guess years later, my friend Brian Smith, who's also friends with Jerry Harrison, they had dinner with Larry Mullen in New York. And this was like 22, 23 maybe, and I guess, I don't know, it was Brian or Jerry that brought up that, you know, the boys in live, say hi, whatever. Larry's one of my biggest drumming influences, but the only guy in Utah I haven't met in person. And so Brian said, "Yeah, the guys in live." Oh, and Larry was just like, "Oh yeah, that band. They turned us down to open." So he's still Larry still remembers.
But from a fan perspective, though, and I know Justin feels the same, I would say you're one of the most prolific drummers from one of the most prolific bands of our time. We have every live CD. We do not have a single U2 CD.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was on my questions too, is like, what was it like touring, and then like all of a sudden like Lightning Crashes hits, and then All Over You and all these songs start getting really big.
Was it ever?
Because I always think of, have you ever seen the movie That Thing You Do?
Yeah, sure.
Like when they keep going like, "Hey guys, no, we're not doing this tour anymore. We're going here. Your album's #1 now. You're going here." Like, was it kind of like that where you were like, "Oh, you're going to play in bigger places now," or you start like,
yeah, it was a little like that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not that kind of frenzy where we like drop everything to go somewhere where the album went #1. Nothing like that. But like we kept adding more and more tour dates. We ended up being on tour for that record like 18 or 19 months straight, like with basically no rests. And by the end of in '95, by the end of the big, we went out and did our own amphitheater tour and arenas in summer '95, and that ended with the last show was in the Philadelphia Spectrum, which for us that was like the penultimate place to play and sell out, because that meant you were like, for being from York and you hear someone's playing at the Spectrum, you're like, oh, that freaking band's huge, So
Yeah.
when we booked that and we sold it out to the hilt and we played that show, but we were also freaking tired, literally by the end of that tour. That was the last show on the Throwing Copper tour, and we were just like, it was amazing, but also we're just like, I just want to fucking go home. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like all of us were just done. Even at 24 or 25, however old we were, we kept telling our managers like, and then there was another arena tour offered into the winter, to start in the winter of 95, end of 95 and 96. And it was like some huge amount of money they offered us. And we were just like, nope, we're not doing it. We're friggin' done. And in hindsight, we should have done that too. Like our manager should have been like, just here, take a private jet, go to the friggin' islands, relax, and then come back and do this freaking huge tour. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. We also got offered to play at the White House in that time period when Clinton was in office. And we turned that down because we were tired. Like, hello. Anyway,
Yeah. I mean, I understand that too. You just, you're like, oh, this will keep going and we'll pick it up on the next one and stuff too. That's just the mentality. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, oh yeah, it happens. You guys still had like an amazing run with that album and just you need to recharge the batteries. And it's good to at that age to understand that too. Like, hey, we're gonna really suffer for this later if we don't recharge our batteries now. And
Yeah.
we're listening to your bodies. A lot of people don't do that.
Well, that
A
was
lot
a
of
little
bands
bit of
that,
the that was a little bit of the frenzy of, like you said, kind of that's where that thing you do kind of came in. Though like our managers kept going, no, you can't have a rest. You got to go to this next tour. We already booked
yeah,
this, and like we're like, Jesus, man, like we need a week off, 2 weeks off, please.
yeah.
And we didn't get it. So
Yeah. Was there a song or two that you thought was going to be a bigger song off that album that didn't become one?
no, I
No?
mean,
Okay.
no, no, not, I mean, we were surprised that Lightning Crashes was so huge that all the radio stations just simultaneously started playing All Over You after it. That was
Mhm.
never an official single. We didn't put that out as a single. So we were surprised by that, but there wasn't a song. We kind of knew what the singles were
Mhm.
when we put the record together. Like we all agreed Selling Drum would be the first single. We thought, Island would be the second, and we knew Lightning Crashes would come out at some point. At least we thought we did. Gary Kirk, first back to him, he was again the label president, and he said Lightning Crashes will be a single over My Dead Body, and we're like, okay. MCA eventually overruled him, and there was a sometime in '94 where before Lightning Crashes came out, we were doing some promo stuff at Universal out in LA, and we had played acoustic, and we were just kind of like a cocktail event. We played acoustic, or has the new it thing on MCA, and we were all standing around a table after we played, and Richard Palmese, who was the president of MCA, came over and stood at our table, and he's like, "All right, boys, after Lightning Crashes come out, you'll be buying houses," and we were like, "Okay, dude, whatever, sure." Little did we know that was very true.
Yeah. And that was we stumbled across because we have Paramount. We stumbled across you guys with the MTV Unplugged.
Yes.
We have a bunch of bands on like, oh, we got to watch this, and that was just so much fun to watch. Just
Thank you.
like
Yeah, that was cool to do too. Yeah.
oh yeah, and the energy you have, it's just still inspiring to me. Like, because I think we play very similarly, where it's just like I hit the drums very very hard, and it's like watching you play and just all that was just even now 30 years later, it's just still like man, like that's just so cool to watch just to see.
Cool,
that.
thank you. Yeah, that's why I busted out the hot rods for that.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
still play kind of hard, but not like playing hard is where I get my steadiness.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
when I play like really soft, I'm not I'm kind of more unsteady when I'm playing soft. When I'm playing hard, like is when I'm more steady as a drummer. So anyway,
I completely understand that. Yeah, I'm the same way where I get like a little, like off balance. I guess is
yeah,
the word I would use for when I play it slower or softer. It's like I feel like like I'm not in control of how I'm playing. I got to
yes,
play a certain way. Yeah, so I completely understand
And
that.
then, do you like to play barefoot or in
He
socks?
always has.
Yeah.
I've never played with shoes on. Like I learned how to play. I taught myself how to play drums in my bedroom, so I never put on shoes,
Mhm.
and so I just got used to that and never wore them ever. So yes, the coldest show I ever did was we were on the tour with the Counting Crows in 2000. We were doing co-headline, and which was a great tour. We had that's where we met Chris Shin. He was in a band called Unified Theory at the time. But we played a show in Arizona, and it was 100 degrees at night. And the next night we played in Denver, and it was 32 degrees at night. So I was like, "Am I going to go on stage in bare feet in 32 degrees? We'll see how this goes." So I did. And after a couple songs, I was warm enough, but it was a little chilly.
Yeah.
Especially when you first touch that pedal, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Because it's been
yeah.
set up all day, and you're just like, oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
icicles growing on it. Yeah.
It's cold and rainy.
So are you cool if we get a little nerdy here? We'll break down the songs and what you use,
Yeah.
symbols, and all that stuff. Cool. How often did you change heads during the
Oh
recording?
my! In the studio,
Yeah.
probably on the snare, maybe after 2 or 3 songs.
Okay.
Wow.
Tom's probably 3 or 4. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but that's probably what we did.
Okay. What heads were you using then?
I think they were Attack heads at that point.
Okay.
Because Attack, I was endorsed by Attack for a while.
Okay. Underrated heads for sure. So
Yeah, I mean they were great.
because everyone's like
I don't
Remo Evans, but I've played Attack a few times. Like these are nice.
yeah. I don't even know how or when I switched to Evans. I'm not even sure.
Hmm. Okay. And you were using the pearls, right? For that?
I was on Pearl drums. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Snare drum as well. Yeah, the piccolo, I believe.
I had the piccolo free floating, yes, for that session. Yep.
Okay. And do you remember the hardware and cymbals? I know you were using Zildjians.
I'm always used Zildjian. I've been Zildjian and Dorsey for like, I don't know, 32 years or something. But definitely Zildjian. All probably all A's at that point. I'm using all K's now, a little
Mhm.
darker,
Mhm.
but it was all A's and similar sizes. I mean, I had smaller cymbals. I'm probably playing 16, 17, 15 on my crashes, which I've since increased to 18, 18, 17. I was still playing a probably 18-inch China, 20, always a 20-inch ride, always an 8-inch splash. And I had another 14-inch China on my left that I don't use anymore. But yeah, but it was a 12, 13. I had 12 mounted tom, 13 mounted tom on the left, and 16-inch floor tom, 22-inch bass, 14 by 3.5-inch piccolo.
Nice. Nothing cuts.
Yeah, I still have it. I had a maple one and a brass one. I just have to do a little. I should bust it out. I have to do a little maintenance on them. They've been sitting around for a long time.
Are your kids interested in drums at all?
My son took drum lessons for a while. He was interested in drums, and he took drum lessons because he was intimidated to play in front of me, which I could have taught him, but whatever. So, but he did that for a little while. But he's more concentrated on volleyball now. So, my girls are playing trumpet and band right now. And,
That's what I played.
nice. There you go. Yeah, that's what Chad and Ed played trumpet in all the school bands too.
Yeah.
That's how Ronnie James Dio started. So
There you go. But yeah, none of the kids have really gravitated toward music yet. We'll see.
How do they feel if they ever hear your songs on the radio?
They're always excited when it comes on because we
Yeah.
listen to Sirius XM and I listen to Lithium all the time, so we're played on there a lot. So they'll be like, "Oh, Dad, you're on the radio."
We know
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I don't know if they're impressed, but like their friends, sometimes their friends' parents find out, and
Yeah.
they're big live fans or whatever, or at least they know the band.
Mhm.
That I think that impresses them more that their friends' parents know.
Yeah. Yeah. The kids
But
are like, yeah,
actually,
whatever.
yeah.
He's our dad, whatever. But
Right, yeah.
friends are like, dude, do you know who your dad is?
Yeah, I'm sure it's like that with every. I think it's like
Sure.
that with every rock star, whatever. Even
Yeah.
like Dave Grohl, for instance, his kids are probably like, "Whatever, Dad." Yeah.
She's not a big Dave Grohl fan right now.
Not right
so.
now. No.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, because of the whole cheating
This-
thing, and
yeah.
now Josh Freese or both are
Oh, that
just
sucked.
yeah.
Yeah, that Josh Freese thing wasn't cool either. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
You don't do that. Nah, I don't. I heard they're getting Taylor's son, I guess, is the rumor. So they're just waiting for him to become of age. So.
I started thinking that as soon as they got rid of Josh Freese, and now there's
Mhm.
like rumors. I'm seeing stuff on Instagram and little posts here and there. So it could be. He's 18 now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a great drummer. I mean,
sure.
shit.
Yeah. And
When he
looks
plays
just
that
like-
tribute,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you ever think about joining another band other than live? Like, say, Foo Fighters said, "Hey, come play with us." Would you?
I would consider that. I would have to do a lot of playing and working out because they play like 3-hour shows.
No, good luck with Everlong. Also,
Oh my god!
fuck that song, man.
Dude.
Jesus, she
Yeah.
had me play it one time. She thought it was pretty. I'm like,
I'm like, it's such a
it's
pretty
not
song.
pretty song on
So
drums.
Oh yeah, yeah. That'd be like playing
it's
stage
triple
every
time.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's triple time of what the actual like tempo is. It's weird. I was teaching
Yeah.
her like, here's how it could have been played, but here's how Dave played it. Like,
Yes, of course. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I would consider that, but I'd have to really start working out and playing a lot. And then there was, you two did that residency in Vegas and Larry wasn't playing, and so my
Mhm.
buddy Brian Smith was actually trying to throw my name in the ring there for that. I would have done that.
That'd
I
have been
definitely
cool.
would have done that
That
if I
would have
got the
been
call,
cool.
but yeah.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
otherwise, no, I mean, if someone called, depending on who it was, I might consider it. I mean, I'm so used to playing with Chad and Patrick as, because we've been the core of many band or a few bands that we've done, obviously. So live and the Gracious Few, and then live with Chris Shin. So I'm just very comfortable playing with them, and I don't know. I had never had to survive like that playing
Mhm.
with. I mean, I give kudos to guys like Josh Freese or even Robin Diaz for that matter. They're working drummers. They play different styles. They can go in and out in different bands and get in the recording studio and do different things. And it's like that's just not how I grew up drumming.
Yeah. Or Kenny Aronoff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a tons of
Jeez.
them. Like Kenny
And
Aronoff
he's
is
out
yeah,
he's out with
that's
Satchel
machine.
doing a Van Halen thing. Like,
Right. Yeah.
wow. Like dude can play anything. He's one of my big inspirations too, just because
Yeah, he's amazing.
he
Yeah.
can do anything. I watched him on
Hmm.
that Burning for Buddy thing and he's sight read like hard, difficult jazz and just knocked it out in one take. I'm
Oh,
like,
that shit breaks my brain. People sight reading.
did
Sight
you ever
reading
see that
anything,
video?
let alone jazz. No, I gotta watch that. What's it called?
It's Burning for Buddy, and it was Kenny Aronoff. I think he just came in on like a red eye, and he just sight read the song he was supposed to play it, and he just knocked it out. I'm like,
He sight read
yeah. I'm just like sitting like
it.
that is nuts. That's another level of
Oh my
just
god, yeah,
playing. Yeah, I because I don't know how to read music. I can if I need to, but I
yeah.
couldn't do something like that. Especially
No,
like
hell no.
it's like a
Nope.
upbeat like tempo jazz like Whiplash kind of like upbeat tempo,
Yes,
like what he does is like
and
Jesus, and
he's sight reading that and
yeah, he
playing.
just
Oh
like
yeah,
gets
that's
off the plane, sits down,
insane.
just reading it, and just I'm like, who does that? And he's just like right on time, and it's really cool to see.
Wow.
I would
I gotta
definitely
watch.
check it out.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I'm gonna watch this.
Nice. And what sticks did you use, and how many did you go through? Actually, yeah, because you use sticks as well, not just the hot rods, right?
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, I use sticks most of the
Okay,
time. Yes, but
okay,
I've been with ProMark for. Jeez, I don't remember playing anything else, but I played ProMark forever and ever, and I got endorsed by them and think around throwing copper.
okay,
Um, I used to play. I used to play the oak stick with a plastic tip,
okay.
but I kept busting those off when playing on the ride.
Oh, I haven't played plastic tips since I was
Yeah,
like 12 or 13 because I was just breaking them too many times.
yeah, they were getting to be a hazard. They were trying to fly in my eye and stuff. So I was like, I gotta switch to wood tips. But and then oak, I would find that oak, the way I play the snare, like I'm basically chopping up wood on the snare, and because I'm doing rim shots basically all the time. So oak sticks would just like break clean in half,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes without warning.
Yes.
But whereas hickory sticks will kind of like start to
They'll
break
shatter a
down the
little bit.
grain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll start to split on the grain, and you can feel it. You go boom. So I switched to hickory at some point. I forget exactly. Probably during throwing copper again, but
That's crazy. I did the same thing and I didn't even know that you had done that. Yeah, I started with oak as well because that's what Neil used and I was like, oh, if
mm,
he used it, I'll use it. But yeah, same thing. Like it would just break right. It'd like make like a vampire steak almost when it
yeah,
broke. And I was like,
yeah,
yeah, that sucks. So I started using hickory and been with hickory ever since too. So
yeah. And then ProMark came out with this active grip stuff, which
hmm
was a godsend to me because
hmm
I would spend every day with not washing my hands at all because just building up the natural oils and stuff, which would give me more grip. And
hmm
I'd refuse to use drumming gloves or tape or all that crap. So, but when active grip came out, I was like, shit, this stuff's amazing because from your body heat, it gets a little tacky, and
hmm
I've never had problems after I got active grip. Because before, like I said, I'd not wash my hands, but like in the beginning of tours, my thumbs would get really freaking tired because I'm gripping so hard not to
hmm
lose that grip. But the active grip is a godsend. Thank
Yeah.
you, ProMark.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with Scorpion who uses the ProMark facility.
Okay.
And they have the same thing. They have like this tacky green like active grip thing they put on theirs too, and I
Yeah.
love it. So.
And then they came out with black, so I was like, yeah, I'm doing black sticks. That's fun.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll start getting into each song and just talk a little bit about it. We'll start with obviously "Damn It, Otter Creek."
Hmm.
You come in at the 2 minute and 5 second mark. I just put hi-hats to thunderous snare tom kick. That 3 minutes 5 seconds, everything comes in, then you just start beating the hell out of that China as well. So
Yeah, by the end, yes. Mhm.
yeah. And then obviously the back of the album cover is Otter Creek. Is that
That's
a place
correct,
you guys
yep.
went to a lot?
Yes, we would leave. We'd get out of high school and sometimes hook out and go there to swim in the spring. There was you hike back in. There's a couple of places where there's a small waterfall, and we would actually. There's mostly Chad and I, with a couple other guys, and sometimes we took Ed and Patrick. But we'd literally take stones and build a dam to make the swimming hole deeper,
Oh, okay.
deep enough to dive.
Yep.
So that whole part of the lyrics, Dam at Otter Creek, the guys built the dam at Otter Creek to make deep enough to dive. That's real. The dead man in sheets part, that's fictitious.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough.
but we thought it was really cool when they came up with those lyrics. Really
Okay,
freaking badass.
So the sign says no alcoholic beverages and no parking after sunset. Did you break those rules?
No, we did not. Not at the time. No, we were not drinking. We were just going there to swim.
All right.
Absolutely.
And
We were good boys.
Did you ever have a vehicle towed? Because that's on
From
as
there,
well.
no. We were never there at night.
Not from
Nope.
there.
we're just having fun with what it says on the back of the album.
Oh, sure, no, that's
The-
fine.
The
That's good.
restrictions.
Yes. No, we didn't. We were not drinking, and we never had no vehicles, so we're good.
I plead the fifth on that one.
That sign got stolen a couple times too after Throwing Copper came out.
Oh,
That
I'm
was like-
sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
in Mesa, we have a street called Pantera Street, and
Mm.
in 92, the sign went from about 6 feet above ground to about 20 feet above ground. It's way the hell up there.
Right.
Because everyone like we're not changing the name, but we got to keep people from stealing this. So
Yeah, right.
like, in order to find Pantera Street, if you're looking for it, you're like looking way up here. Oh, yep, that okay, cool. Like
Same in Bakersfield with Corn Row. The sign's 25 feet up.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it's stolen,
Yeah. It's hilarious.
and track 2, Selling the Drama.
Mm-hmm.
You come in on one after the first part of the verse, and this is when you start really like getting to the like ride bell, or
Yeah.
the bell ride, pre-chorus, and then just like I love the tribal that you're doing on that, the tribal beats at the chorus, and then the fill into the rest of the verse is just awesome. Just
Oh.
like, is this one that like you worked a lot with, or is it just one that you just knocked out real early on in the writing process, or?
I don't know. I forget where in the writing process we wrote through Selling the Drama, but it was the drum part I came up with was pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Basically, once we
the
had
lyrics
structure
are
of the song.
really deep. So where do lyrics like that come from at such a young age?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a lyric guy, so Ed, that's Eddie's department, or was Eddie's department, and he was heavily influenced by a guy named Krishnamurti on mental jewelry. There's a book called "You Are the World," and so I think a little bit of that kind of spilled into Throwing Copper in a lot of ways. And they really started getting into Hinduism through Secret Samadhi. And so, yeah, I'm not sure where he gathered the inspiration for those lyrics, but
Or how
it's
about
always
the
been
title?
incredible.
Because Selling the Drama is never in the song.
Yeah, again, I don't know where he came up with that either.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
whose idea was it for? Because I know you didn't use a click and all that. Did you guys all kind of decide to leave the hi-hat cues and stuff in, like especially on this one? It's really the first time you do it. Like, because a lot of times like they'll take that out, so it's
Yeah.
Did you guys
We
want to
made a
leave that in?
decision to do that. I mean, we recorded all those songs live in the studio,
Mhm,
so I had to keep time through certain sections. So
Sure.
yes, and I probably was left in because there were
Just sounds cool.
just well, one, it sounds cool too, yeah, and two, there was mics everywhere, so
Yeah.
it was probably really hard to take them out.
Because I love that. I love when
Yeah, me
stuff
too.
like that's kept in, like it
Mhm.
shows that like it's a band, it's recorded the way it was recorded, and I love that. We also watched the YouTube videos on the songs that were on this
Hmm.
album.
Mhm.
Did you always do the left hand cymbal crash, right hand hi-hat snare at the verse parts? There's like a little thing you kind of did where you it's hard to explain it, but there's a
In
little
selling the drama.
selling the drama, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a were you
Yeah, I
always
mean
doing that?
that's the way I put that was pretty close to how I've been playing it forever. Yeah.
Nice. That was
So
really cool. Yeah, just the fact that you were self-taught and you just did like things like that that a lot of people wouldn't think to do. And it's just something I noticed being a drummer, just
yeah, that's one of the reasons I figured out early on taught myself how to play and I didn't want to take lessons because I didn't want to be influenced by someone else
hmm
showing me how to do things because I was figuring out things on my own,
yeah.
how to do fills, what I'd hear a fill and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And so I had my own way of doing it. And sometimes it's exactly like everybody else plays it, and sometimes it's not. So I remember feeling that early on, like I want to have my own style,
hmm
and I don't want to take lessons from some guy who's gonna be like, you have to do this way, and
Yeah.
because I had done that with saxophone, I'd taken all these saxophone lessons. I'm like, oh. I was like, I don't want any fucking music teachers telling me what to do
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. No, I took because I started playing when I was 6, and my dad forced me to take like specific drum lessons, even though I was doing drum stuff in school. It's like, no, I want
Hmm.
you to work with someone on the drum set. And I did one lesson. I'm like, Dad, I can't do this. Like I feel like I'm going backwards now.
Right.
Know? And because
Yes.
he's like, okay, you do a paradiddle thing on the hi-hats and stuff, and I'm like, now I'm thinking about it too much. Now it's
Oh,
taking
exactly.
fun out of it. And now I'm like, I feel like I'm playing it wrong. It's like, but
Hmm.
naturally I would have been playing it right if I just wasn't thinking about it and doing this. So I completely get that. Yeah, it's not fun. And then it teaches you to like have your own voice. Like I
Yeah.
really think the whole reason that like you're one of the drummers that you could take the other instruments out and I would still know it was you,
Hmm.
because you
Oh,
have
cool.
your own
Thank
voice,
you.
like
I appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's the truth. Like you just have a great sound, you have a style you play that's you. And I think a lot of that does come from just teaching yourself and how to play and playing your own style and doing it your own way because it makes you unique instead of playing how everyone else that has that same teacher would play and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That was the plan.
cool.
I forgot to mention about the Damn It Otter Creek going back.
Oh yeah.
The drum part is inspired a lot by Exit from U2.
Okay.
If you go back and listen to
Okay.
that song. So
That
anyway,
is yeah.
selling drama not so much, but definitely Exit was a big inspiration for my drum part in Damn It Otter Creek.
Okay. And what about I Alone? What made you decide to do the rim jobs and stuff like that?
Ed brought that in.
Okay.
He brought in that verse part and the chorus, like basically done. He had
hmm
some. I remember the first time he played it, he had some rudimentary. We had the melody kind of sketched out in rudimentary lyrics. And I don't know. He just started playing that, and it was kind of soft thing. I was like, oh man, dude, try rim shots on this. I don't want to start with drums, like hard snare drum.
hmm
It just kind of lent itself to what he was doing at the time.
And then you do the double click right at the end of the verse too, which is really cool. So I always love that because it's just separates it from the rest of the,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I remember. Yeah, I don't know. We played the song a few times, and I started doing that just to like you said, separate the sections. So
hmm Okay.
What is that song about? Because
I
I ha
alone.
yeah, because I have a totally different take on it from my perspective of the lyrics.
Right. Again, I don't know. One
I
Ed, one Ed will not really tell you what it's about. He'll always leave it over to interpretation. Two, I've said many times, like I never paid attention really to the lyrics. I pay attention to the melody. That's what I cue off of. So, and this was never meant to be in any way disrespectful to Ed. I just don't. I just didn't pay attention. I mean, I know what he's singing, but
right.
I never delved into like. I've never been a lyric guy. I've never delved. Even U2. I loved U2. I've never gone to like, oh, what's the lyrics mean? Like that's was never my thing. I was all in melody.
I love lyrics, and
Yeah.
I had a totally different. What did you tell me it was about?
Just like religion,
Yeah.
Jesus, stuff like that is kind of the way I took it.
I
Hmm.
took it as a domestic violence song.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
alone love you. I alone tempt you. Fear is not the end of this. Like, I'm the only one, and if anything happens, you're getting it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how I
weird.
always took it.
I always took it as I alone. Yeah, just more religious, like the Jesus thing. Don't have any fear or whatever. Yeah, just I don't know. But
So
and
Well,
Chad's like, I
maybe
have no idea.
I have no
Like,
idea, and Ed would probably tell you you're both correct. Cause he would leave he literally leave it up to interpretation. So
yeah,
yeah,
but I love
um,
that song.
yeah,
thank
Absolutely
you.
love that song.
yeah. And this is when you are hammering the hell out of the bell again on the bridge, which reminded me a lot of like a Ringo style. How you were
Yes.
doing that, and then the subtle like tom hits, like Neil was doing it a lot as well. That's kind of the influences I heard in that song that maybe wasn't sure if you had or not, but definitely the Ringo ride thing is what I'm hearing on this one a
Yeah.
lot, where he does that like halftime kind of the bell, especially yeah, just definitely Ringo.
Well, so the weird thing is, like, the Beatles records were probably the first records that I played to learn to because I
Hmm.
could, you know, Ringo is amazing in what he did, but it's very basic to me.
Hmm.
Even though he was left-handed, so you find out late years later he's left-handed playing right-handed, but like, so that's why some of his fills are like really weird. You're like, how the fuck did he do that?
Yeah.
But um, at the time, like I was never. So if there's Neil Peart things that you hear, I wasn't into Rush or Neil Peart
Hmm.
at the time,
Hmm.
and knew he was an amazing drummer. And it's kind of funny because like I said, I played sax in all the school bands, especially when I got to high school. We had the band and we had played some school stuff and I was playing drums. All the guys in the drum line thought didn't like me because I wasn't playing drums in the drum line with them. I was
Hmm.
playing saxophone, but we were kind of cool already in the school, whatever, and I was playing drums and everyone was like, hey, you can't play drums, you're not in the drum line. And they were all into Rush and Neil Peart. And I was like, whatever, guys. I'm into friggin' U2 and the Smiths and REM. Like, I'm over here. Like, you guys can listen to Neil Peart. And so I had a little bias against Neil Peart because of their bias against me, the drumline guys. So, but obviously, when in '94, when Neil comes out and says good things about me in Rolling Stone, I was like, oh shit, that's okay. I'll take
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
badass.
And I think it's
So
because
anyway,
of the way you were playing a lot of the songs was I wouldn't say it was like how he's playing, but it's just there's similarities there that I
sure.
definitely hear being a big Rush fan growing up and everything too.
Well, I mean, I
Especially
probably
as we
picked
get
up
into
stuff here and there. Yeah, like
yeah,
I, you could hear Tom Sawyer on the radio and Rush stuff on the radio, so I
yeah,
probably subconsciously picked up stuff for sure.
for sure. Yeah. So, Iris, probably one of the more underrated songs on this album. I love this song. This
Mhm.
this is one of those I thought maybe you would say, "Oh yeah, we really thought Iris was going to be bigger than it was" and stuff like that. But
No, we never. I don't think we ever planned to put that out as a song. I mean, we loved playing it, and yeah, I mean, I love my drum part in that song,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and that was we were still like we could do some cool jam shit back then, and
mm-hmm,
so that was showing like the tightness of the band
mm-hmm.
because I mean, dun dun da da boom boom bam, we were all coming down on the same one
Yeah.
at the same time, and that was how the band functioned at the time. We could do some cool shit then.
Yeah, because I have scattered drum parts. I guess was the best way I could describe it because it's kind of like a scattered drum beat is how I would
Yeah.
describe it.
Mhm.
Tom bass snare rims. Were you using the rims of the toms?
No, I would try to hit the tom just with the head, but
Because it almost had like a Lagrange kind of feel to it. You know.
what in the galloping part where it's like,
Yeah,
no, I was not hitting. No.
interesting. Hmm. Because we even have like the CD version, and yeah, interesting. It has that kind of sound to it to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I was hearing. So I was curious if maybe you like did a like double track it or something, did the toms and then went back and did like the rims of it or something because it has that sound. That's weird, huh? Maybe
yeah.
my mind's just
Well, I
playing
mean, the
tricks
way
with
I
me,
played it in the drum video on YouTube is the way I played it in the
and
studio,
that's what I
basically.
have on here. Okay, interesting,
Yeah.
huh? Okay, fair
I mean,
enough.
maybe Tom did something. Tom Loralgi could have done something. I don't remember specifically, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
probably maybe they were higher toms at the time. Like I was playing a 12 and a 16, so maybe
Maybe it
the
just
heads
gave
were
off that.
tighter or something. Yeah,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
sure.
Interesting. Okay. And yeah, you did the fast hi hats, 16th notes at the bridge with the lifts, which I always just love that stuff. You know.
That's all Larry Mullen,
Yeah, oh yeah,
Sunday
for
Bloody
sure.
Sunday
Sunday by the
stuff. Yeah.
Sunday, yeah,
Mm.
for sure. And did you have the cues for the YouTube video? Like, did you have like any like the masters and the cues for any of it, or are you just going off a feel? Because you nailed it, and that I'm like, God, if I went back and played something like that 30 years later, or something like, how does this go? You know, we're so I was
Well, we had
curious.
still been playing that song on tour once in a while, but no,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't use
yeah.
any cues. I just played
Interesting.
played to the record. I mean,
Okay.
I practiced before. I mean, not like
Yeah.
that take you see is like the first thing I played. I sat down and played it a few times. So that's what
Okay.
I do with all the songs right now when I'm doing the drum videos. I'll sit down, I'll take a day when I get there and figure out the 3 songs or 2 songs I want to do, and I'll practice through those a few
Okay.
times
Okay.
and then lay them down. But it's yeah, when I'm playing on all those drum videos, I specifically decided to play as close to what I play on the record because of drummers like you and other drummers are like, oh, what did he do on Thorn Copper? Well, how did he play this? How did he play
Mhm.
this song? So that was the whole intent of those videos.
And I have the hi-hat snare transitions on the bridge is super cool. And I'm curious, was Bill there when you played this one?
Bill, who?
Bill Hines?
Oh, was in this for YouTube when I did the
Yeah,
YouTube play?
for this song specifically, because I have a little note on yours.
I don't remember if he could have been. I'm not sure.
Because I
It
was
was one
wondering
of
if
the first ones I did.
okay, I was wondering if he gave you shit for no crossover on this one. So
No, no, no. He only gives us, he gives me, yeah. I tried to teach him how to play drums one
I
time. I was
know
like,
he told us the
you gotta
story.
cross your hands. And he's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. That's how it is.
When we were on his, I explained kind of to him that it helps with the footwork to cross over. To
Right.
me, that's always made because if I play open-handed, sometimes my foot gets a little wonky.
Sure.
So I was like, it's more of a foot, the right hand, right foot kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
he's
I
like,
mean,
"Ah."
I guess it's what the hi-hat's always on your left because you're activating with your left foot. So you have, and you're for right hand, you're playing that way. I guess that's where
Yeah,
the crossover comes from.
yeah. So the
Yeah.
first drum lesson Justin gave me, he told me to cross my hands. I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah. I think that's most
Because
people.
Phil had told us that story, and I'm like, don't start. Plus, she's left-handed, so I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, and she could have played right-handed, not crossing over because she could play left hand on the hi-hat.
Yeah. So it's
Some
but
people do that.
she's learning. She's getting better. So
Cool.
yeah. All right. This was the one I had the most questions on, Lightning Crashes,
Hmm.
because you've talked about that originally the drums came in pretty early or
Originally, the drums started the song.
started the
Like, it would
song.
not start.
Okay.
Well, we all started at the same time. The whole
Hmm.
band started
Okay.
down. We all started at the same time, and I think it was Jerry during rehearsal, production rehearsal, was like, "Why don't you guys like just start with the guitar, and then bring in the vocals, and then drums come in, and then bass comes in." Like, or no, then bass comes in, then drums come in. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
let's do that. And it turned out, it was really cool.
Yeah. Do you guys have that original recording with everything coming in at the same time? And if you do, have you ever thought of releasing it as like a bonus at any point?
Oh boy, there could be something like that somewhere, but
Because that'd be really cool.
If anyone would have it, it would be Chad Taylor. I mean,
Okay.
we are talking actively about releasing a lot of stuff soon. Um, we're just getting through some things right now, but we want to release. He has a ton of alternative recordings, live performances, B sides, some unreleased stuff. So he has a lot of stuff in his archives,
Very cool.
and let alone the friggin' spreadsheet he has with basically every tour date we ever did on it.
Wow.
So we're
Yeah.
we're seriously considering doing a podcast just to go through the alternative recordings, what we were doing on this certain day. So we've been talking about that.
Very cool. Yeah, because I would love to hear that because I'm always like, what would it have sounded like if we didn't have to wait, 2.5 minutes for the drums to come in and all
Yeah.
that? And did you play it without the hot rods on any takes either? Or was
No,
it
I
always
think
the hot rods?
I picked up the hot rods when when we first started writing that song.
Okay.
'Cause Chad and Ed had worked on it, and then Chad, Patrick, and I came in, and they kind of had most of the song done, and I just picked up. It just seemed right for Hot Rods.
Okay. And on the YouTube video, it was, I like that you just skipped right to the drums coming in on it. You talked a little bit at the beginning, and then drums came
Yeah.
in. And I also had a question: the two hands on the hi hats. Did you do that as well originally with it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Always
cool,
played it that way.
interesting. I didn't know that until I watched you play. I was like, huh. I would have just thought he did it one handed. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because again, that's one of those like slow tempos, and that's hard to keep time sometimes too. So
Yes. Yes.
kudos to you for keeping perfect time doing that, because it's definitely easier with one hand than two. So
Mhm.
that was really cool to watch that as well, and just go, oh, all right, well, I'll start playing it that way then when I play it. So that's,
There you go.
yeah.
See, that's what the videos are for.
Videos,
Here we go.
exactly. Track 6, top. Oh, did you want to do anything? Is Lightning Crashes the only song that we can all think of that has placenta in it?
Yes, I think so.
I believe so. Yes.
That's-
Kudos to Ed for
yeah, I
getting
remember
placenta in a song. Yeah.
you and J-Ro were talking about that on Tuesday, so I thought that I'd bring that up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't
How
know.
do you sneak a placenta in a song? But he did it. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
Exactly. Yes. Now, I do know that song is about the circle of life. I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Right.
pretty well known. So
Yeah, for sure. This top is the first song with drums right away on this album.
Hmm.
We had to wait 6 tracks
Yeah.
for you to come in like pretty much immediately. So, and very upbeat hats, snare and kick. I like the little the triplet thing you do on like the eighth note triplet on the verse and everything. Just little subtleties that most people wouldn't notice, but us drummers do. And
cool. Thank you.
yeah, tom snare chorus with a hat lift, um, and the bell ride mixed in, everything like that. The hat lifts. I love all that stuff. Again, to me very Neil inspired, where he'd be on the ride and then you do a little lift thing and all that. And then obviously heavy China in this one, which is
Gotta have it.
yeah,
It's the go-to
yeah,
at the end of the song.
yeah. I love the China symbol. To me, it's the most versatile symbol, I think, and I just like that because a lot of people, especially in like the music you guys were doing back then, didn't do a whole lot with China that I remember. Like I don't remember like Soundgarden and
Yeah.
Pearl Jam and all those guys doing it, but it's like you and Neil were really the ones that were using it a lot in songs, and I was just like, man, why don't more people use that? It's such a versatile symbol because you can use
That's
it as a
my,
crash, you can use it as an accent, and
Oh yeah. I liked it. I like to use it that way at the end of songs, that's like you're very familiar with Spinal Tap. It's
Yes.
my 11.
it's my 11. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then track 7, I have on here. This is my favorite track on the whole album. I think this is your best drumming, other than maybe like Zucchini's
Zucchini's
Juice.
Cool, thank you.
I mean, the first time I heard this, like Lightning Crashes was great and everything. That was the first one, but when the radio started playing this, pretty much like right after it and stuff like that, like they would, I would hear like Lightning Crashes, and 30 minutes later they'd play this one, and it was just like, oh my god, like this is what got me to like buy the album. And
It's track 7, All Over You. You didn't say the title, so
oh, I'm sorry,
I
All
forget.
Over You. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, All Over You.
That's what I was thinking you were talking
Thank you.
about. but I had to-
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for you know how this works. We forget
Sorry.
sometimes. But
Yes.
yeah, I just like when I heard this, just the way you played it, I like that you did before the first verse, you did like the halftime going into it.
Mhm.
And it's the only time you did that. The next time you just kept it in the same tempo. But I just like that you changed the tempos of the song without taking away from it. And then now learning that you didn't use a click, which is just amazing on this song, because this song has so many different tempo changes, time
Yeah.
changes,
That's
and
yeah,
it's just
how we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just flows so well. I mean, just you on the bell with it, the great tom work, just the tom snare triplet before the second verse played twice. The halftime on the bridge is maybe one of my favorite parts of the whole song. Just dun 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 dun. Dun,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I
'Cause
forget
it's
how
very-
we came up with that, but
Because
yeah.
it'd be very easy for you to just kind of speed that up, but you just play it just so perfect on that halftime, and just it just has such an energy to it, like almost like you could mosh to it, kind of thing. You know,
There you
like
go.
it's probably the most metal part of probably the whole album too.
Oh yeah, I would agree with
Which,
that. Yes,
and I
yeah.
think that this kind of was to me a foreshadowing of what the next album was going to be like, where you guys did go a little heavier, a little
Yep.
more hard rock metal and stuff like that. I think like this could have very easily been on that album, but I'm glad it's on this one. But it very easily could have been, on your next album too. But I don't know. I just can't say enough great things about it. Like I think even
thank you.
Shade Rays, it's I think the only one of your songs I've done song or a play along to on YouTube.
Okay.
So, yeah, because it just, I don't know.
You like that bridge, huh?
I love that. I just like the whole thing. Just, I mean, the way, and then when you come out of the bridge, the dun 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 dun, dun ba ba, and just go right.
I love drum talk.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we would try to avoid the build up like that, like the blah, 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 but we do, occasionally it's warranted. So
yeah, and it just works in this song. Did you always want to do that, or did you try a few other things with that certain part?
the build up thing,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when. Like, trying to remember. It's been so long. I don't remember how we came up with that, so
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Did you get this one pretty quick too in the writing process as far as what you were going to play?
Yeah, yes. Once the song was done, like Ed and Chad worked on it for a while together.
Mhm.
Then Patrick and I came in, and like I kind of I got it pretty quick. I was trying, like I normally would not play the eighth notes on hi hat or ride because it just seemed like too heavy metal to me, like like
Yeah.
16th notes
Mm-hmm.
or no, maybe no, I'm talking about quarter notes, so like wah wah. So I did play some quarter notes on this on the ride, and then I to make it a little more spicy, I put it in that tom thing,
Yes. Yeah.
like in the choruses. So I don't know. It came together pretty quick once the song was together. My drum part did.
Mm-hmm.
Once the song was fully done.
And is that how you guys wrote a lot? Did you write all together in the studio when you were doing songs? I should have brought that up earlier on, but did you guys
Usually,
or the two of you get together soon? Like Ed and Chad get together sooner and work on stuff than you guys would come down and or
yes.
okay.
Sometimes, I mean, sometimes we do a band rehearsal and just start playing through stuff. Like I remember when Ed brought I Alone in, we were just doing a band rehearsal, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." So we just started working on that, and but like a lot of like Lightning Crashes, All Over You, those specifically, the Ed and Chad were working on stuff by themselves first before Patrick and I, because sometimes it's distracting to have the drummer and the bass player sitting there trying to figure out what they're doing while they're trying to write something. So
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I sometimes you can get in the way of what they're
Right.
working on, and it is fun too to kind of hear how it starts and hear how it ends. I love all that. I love that the Beatles always do that stuff when they release things. It's like they're track 1 and track 2, and it's like track 13's like getting close to how the song's written. I love all that stuff. I will listen to all that stuff all day because I love hearing how things are written, and watching. Like I love that. Did you ever get the chance to watch the Get Back series on Disney?
no, I did not watch that.
That was
I
really
was going
cool.
to. I just never got to it.
Seeing Paul just sit down, he's riding the long and winding road, but it's like
In the background.
in the background as he's just screwing around. Like, oh my God, like there's a number one single he's writing. He doesn't even know he's doing it yet. Just like stuff like that's just so cool to see and listen to. So
Yeah, I saw clips from it, and it's like, wow, it looks freaking cool. I just never got to watch it. So I gotta watch it.
It's a marathon. So
Yeah.
I think they're like 2.5 hours each, and it's like 3 or 4
Oh Jesus!
episodes. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, set a weekend for sure if you do that, but it is worth it. It's really cool to watch, especially once they
Nice.
get to the rooftop at the end and everything. It's definitely worth it. The YouTube take I have from this is I have been playing it correctly all these years. So that's what I
Mm,
have on off of
perfect.
All Over You. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Good.
track 8, Shit Town. See, I'm learning. I gave you
Hmm.
the song
Thank
title
you.
this time. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question on this. Did the Weavers live up the street from you? And if so, what did they do to get on the song?
Well, I think Weaver's in Ed was living in Lancaster at the time that he wrote the lyrics. In this little, he was living in a barn, converted apartment inside of a barn. He had a coal burning stove in there. But anyway, I think the Weavers are just a very common name
Mhm.
especially in Lancaster County for
Okay.
whatever reason. I'm not sure. So I think that was just like a common name that he
Okay.
decided to use, and
I
it
was
fit
like,
in his lyrics.
man, what did they do to you guys?
Yeah. I mean, the song is about York, and York is an interesting place. Like I was talking about earlier, like, if you get too successful, they're like, "Oh, you're all uppity now, like whatever."
Yeah.
So then
That's too bad.
it's just like a lot of people's hometowns where they're growing up and they're bored teenagers. Like, this place sucks. So, shit town. But a lot of people identify with that because a lot of their towns are shit towns.
Right.
Did you who did you guys originally have the E at the end of town? Or was that something you came up with later
Ed did
on?
that. I don't
Ed
know.
did that. Okay.
Yeah. Not sure why he put these ends of town.
Just always curious about that too. I figured why not ask someone close to the source? So
Yeah.
this
Not
another
close
one.
enough.
This one I just have, ride heavy with Tom's triplet snare. Again, stick clicks, love it in this one as well. Keeping the timing
Yeah.
and all that. Just I'm glad you guys kept that stuff in. Like I said, a lot of bands
Hmm.
don't do that. They'll take it out in post, and
Yeah.
being that you're similar to me as hating clicks and you are the click, and keeping it in, just especially your band's called Live. Like, why not keep it live? It
Oh,
makes
exactly.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just have great hat work and snare work, especially before the second chorus. So, like,
Mm.
just another, just great drum and sound. And I just want to say again, like, how busy you play the drums. I like that too. That I like that they allowed you to do that as well. A lot of bands be like, hey man, too much snare here, too much snare there, hi hats, and I love like busy but fitting the song too. Because obviously Lightning Crashes, you're not playing as busy, but it's still fitting the song. But most
Mm.
of, I'd say like 90%, 95% of the songs on here, it's very busy but very tasteful. Hi hat, snare, ride, all that stuff, and
Yeah.
just
Well, I'd always, like I was saying earlier, I cue off the melody, so I would always try to not step on what I was doing, but accent what he was doing.
hmm hmm yeah. And I just being that I like to play busy too, but it's all about the song to start with. But
Sure.
if you can, I hate to use the word, but show off in the song, go for it, or because that's the whole point of doing is being you, and you're not a studio drummer, so you get to you do your thing and all that. But I just want to just again, I don't think you give yourself the credit that you deserve as far as being
Well, thank you.
a great player that you are. So like truly, like just even
Well, thank you.
yeah, we both sit there. We were listening to it so many times, and I'm like, man, like every time I listen, it's like a great movie. Like I miss something every time, or I learn something new, or something I've missed before. Every time we go back and listen to this, and
Cool.
it's on full rotation all the time, and I was like, man, like. So I'm glad actually we pushed this back when we did because it gave me a few more chances to go. Oh, I didn't notice that last time. Cool. I'll ask him
Oh,
about
sweet.
about
Nice.
that. So, um,
Good. Good.
track 9, Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
Not to be determined.
Not to be determined.
No. TBD,
Um,
not to be determined. That's right.
yeah, this is the one that features Patrick a lot. Wow, especially with the bass intro. Did you use?
That's how we wrote the song.
Yeah,
That was Patrick's part. He brought in. He just started playing that. We're like, well, that's pretty freaking cool.
Mhm.
nice.
You know,
Did you use brushes on this, or were these the hot rods again?
use hot rods. Yeah.
Okay, they had a brush sound to them on this one for some reason to me,
Mm,
but I don't
yeah.
know.
It's definitely hot rods.
Okay, interesting. Love those things. You can get
Yeah.
so many different sounds out of it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, and I have on here. Did you switch to sticks on this at all?
No,
Okay,
I've always
Okay.
used hot rods through the whole thing. I would
weird.
destroy hot rods.
I wonder if Tom did something maybe later on in the mix because it sounded almost like you went to sticks at certain like in like a transitional period or something in this where it went to sticks. I don't know. Again, maybe it's just my ears playing tricks on me, but
Yeah, I was
yeah.
just beating the shit out of hot rods and destroying hot rods. Like, those little fucking things are splintering everywhere. So,
Fair enough. And in the YouTube, all I have is that you let us know what it meant for the hot rods in the video, so it's good hearing that too.
right.
But track 10 stage. I have
Mhm.
kick, tom, snare, flam intro,
Strong drum
strong drums, yeah,
intro.
snare roll in the chorus, just more aggressive playing. I love it. You can just feel like the way you're playing in the mix, which is says a lot about how it was done,
Yeah.
recording and post and everything too.
Yeah.
Did you get to learn a lot about recording on this album, or did you learn some in the mental jewelry as well, or do you feel that you learned a little bit more here with it?
I mean, just being in the studio, you learn stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah. So we recorded a few things. We recorded Death of a Dictionary in a studio, so learn stuff there, and then
Hmm.
obviously mental jewelry. Yeah. So yes, I
Okay.
definitely learned some things, but yeah, I mean, stage was always super fast, and I guess people are like, oh, I should do stage now. I'm like, I don't know if I can right now, but I gotta work out because the whole snare part in the verse especially is just that's all my right hand did. And I'm doing like little accents with my left hand,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's super fast. I don't know if my arm can move that fast anymore.
And did you use the same snare on this one?
Um,
Remember? If
I
you don't
mean,
remember, it's okay.
probably. I'm not sure though. I don't
Okay.
remember exactly.
Just had a little more crack to it as well, so I was just curious if you ended up changing snares every once in a while or if it was the same one. Again, all this can be done in mixing and mastering and all that too, but
Sure, yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
okay, cool. And obviously China at the end on this one, so because why the hell
11.
not? Speaking of 11, waitress.
Hmm.
One question I
Yeah,
have because you guys Pennsylvania, did the guys at It's Always Sunny ever ask if they could use the song for the waitress on their show at
I
any
don't
point?
think so. At least
Okay,
I've never heard about that.
I just
If
thought
they
that'd be.
had, I think we would have said yes.
I think that would have been cool.
That would have
Was
been
this
cool.
was this based on a restaurant you used to go to, where maybe there was a bitchy waitress, but
No,
you liked it anyway?
I don't know. It could have been a personal experience for Ed, but I think it was just a general. I mean, I'm sure Ed had difficult waitresses he didn't like, but he would always leave him some change. So, but I don't know. I don't know if it was a specific place.
Okay.
I
And
like the lyrics for this one.
yeah, well, I like how it starts with the two clicks, and then everything's like in sync with the vocals and all that. I like that too when it's not overdone,
Hmm.
which is the only time you guys do it on this one. I have on here the most odd time song as well. It's just felt like there's a lot of odd time on it, which is cool because you don't notice it. I like when you can use odd time and not notice it. And whose idea was it for the whistling and who whistled?
That was Ed's. That was
Okay,
Ed and his idea, and he whistled. Yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
always thought that whistling's tough in general, and then
To be in
to to
tune.
get it
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
because I always like think of like Billy Joel when he does it. I'm like, God, that's got to suck doing that live.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know if he did multiple takes of the whistling. I don't remember, but yeah, that was his thing.
And on the YouTube, because I'm big on ghost notes, does
Hmm.
that come natural to you being self-taught, or did you kind of just start
I
learning?
picked that up by listening to Ghost Notes by listening to the Sting record, Dreams of the Blue Turtle. I think
Okay,
that's what it's called.
okay,
And it was either Manu Katché or Omar Hakim. I always get them mixed up. Played
yeah,
on that record, and that's where I started picking up Ghost Notes from
okay.
either Omar Hakim or Manu Katché.
I love ghost notes. I love getting those
Yeah.
little rolls and those subtle hits and stuff because at the end I think it does add depth to the songs, and
Hmm.
But yeah, you did, just being self-taught, both of us self-taught, that goes, that a lot of Ghost Note stuff is taught like with jazz teachers and stuff like that. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
when I see self-taught people using it, I'm like, cool. Because a
Hmm.
lot of them don't. They hit and they don't let the snare or whatever they're hitting ring out or sing. As far as like the best way I look at it, it's kind of like singing with
Oh,
the
sure. Yeah.
snare.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, I just I noticed that when we watched the YouTube videos, like, oh, that's really really cool. So next song, track 12. I read that it wasn't on the vinyl.
And that's Pillar of Davidson.
A Pillar of Davidson. Thank you. Good God.
Thank you.
But did you guys do a vinyl on? Because I wasn't really doing vinyl back. It was all CDs for me. Did
We
you
put
guys
out
do it?
vinyl. Yeah, we put out
Okay.
vinyl for all the records.
Okay.
We mostly did that because vinyl was still a thing, and it's
Hmm.
even more of a thing now. But we did that because we wanted the record plaques.
Hmm.
So if you didn't put out vinyl, you couldn't have a record plaque. You could only have a CD plaque, and we're like, we want record plaques. So,
Yeah. That's crazy that
but yeah, we had to take off. I think it was Pillar Davidson had to be taken off of the vinyl because there just wasn't enough room.
Okay. And I'm gonna get a little nerdy with the room mics on this one. Did you use different placement or different mics on this one? Because it sounded like little bigger than the other songs did for this song. Do
Didn't
you
use
remember
different
anything like that?
placement or different mics. It was all the same mics in the same placement, but
Okay.
Tom Lord Alge probably highlighted more of the room
Okay.
in the mix.
Okay. And do you remember how early on this was written on the writing process?
Boy, no, I can't even remember. Like, I can't even remember what we wrote. Touring Copper in that place I talked about before,
Hmm.
and then also another place that we rented in York, and
Okay.
that's where we wrote "Right Discussion." I remember writing that song there. There's like this
Okay.
old pizza place, but I don't remember where we wrote and when we wrote Pillar of Davidson. I'm not sure, but I
Okay.
remember when Ed came up with the title. He's like, "Yeah, it's we have Harley Davidson here and Caterpillar, and so I'm calling it Pillar of Davidson." We're like, "That's fucking badass."
Because it almost sounds like could be a biblical title or
Mhm.
something too,
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's really cool.
It's
I didn't
Caterpillar
know
and
that.
Harley Davidson. Yes.
And the big takeaway drum wise is just great, hi hat and tom on the verse, and then your tempo is just so good on this one. It's good on all of them, but the way this one is done and everything, just great tempo for
Thank
you.
you.
And again, did you pretty much get it like the one like just kind of learned it as it went and just kind of just knocked it out with it? Because I know drums go first, so like were you doing multiple songs in
When
a
we were
day
recording, you mean?
or recording? Yeah, in the recording.
Yeah, we
Um,
do. We'd pick what song we're gonna do. I mean, we probably do maybe two a day when we were
okay.
recording. Um, for the most part, maybe we might have done three in one day, but yeah, and it was just all about the drums. I mean,
Yeah.
we all play live, and sometimes we keep the bass parts or someone has guitars. Um, but mostly we're tracking, trying to get the drums in those
Mhm.
takes.
Oh, that's so you guys would keep some of the guitar and bass and all that as well from those takes if you need.
In
Oh,
some
that's really
instances, yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
that's really cool because I know a lot of like guitar, bass, and stuff like they don't like to do that. Like, no, I'll do it separate and stuff. So that's cool that they actually were like, no, let's keep it. That's
I mean, we rehearse extensively for Mental Jewelry and for Throwing Copper
okay.
and for Secret Samadhi too. But like
Hmm.
because we wanted to record live, so we wanted to keep as
Hmm.
much as we could with each performance,
That's really cool.
in the room.
Okay. And track 13, first of all, did you guys always want to do 13 tracks?
Discussion.
White discussion? Or is that just something that just happened?
That's just happened. I mean,
Okay.
it was hard. There was a few songs that we had to leave off of Throwing Copper, and
Hmm.
you know, it was really hard to pick. What we had to you have a limited amount of space on a CD,
Hmm.
and so
And
we
even
could
less on a record. So yeah.
right even less on vinyl. So yeah, we didn't actively choose the number 13, but it just happened that way.
That's cool.
I
Yeah.
love this song.
Yes.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you guys,
It's one
and
of
I
my
know,
favorites too.
yeah, I know early on you guys said you definitely want to do this one last on it, which is usually the hardest
Yeah.
thing to do is pick the song you want to do last because it's hit and miss if it ever goes anywhere too. Like there's some great songs. Some bands had great hits with their last songs. Some never, people don't even know them on a lot of it.
Hmm.
So that's crazy thing to do, but this is like, again, it's a bookend album. It's what I call it. Like you can
Yeah.
just start to finish, and it's just a great way to end it. And I think the way it ends is great if you just put on repeat. And I used to do that all the time when I was, CDs and stuff, which we still listen to, but you can just put on repeat and the whole thing just goes so well just all the way around. Where this one
Yeah.
ends and picks up, it's just perfect. So
We were inspired by bands like U2 again. I mean,
mhm.
the way they would open a record or close the record, sometimes what we were trying to do. And it's funny because the preacher guy and the flute,
Mhm.
everyone asks about that.
Mhm.
Ed recorded that on like a ham radio thing.
Okay.
Just pulled it right off, and then Tom put it into the mix in those spaces where we didn't
Yeah.
really pick where it was going to go. He put those things in there, and they just laid in perfectly. So
I have
really
that on
so
here.
cool.
Yeah, was the spoken word done in post, and whose idea was that? So yeah, I have. That's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ed recorded it and he brought it to us. We're like, that's fucking cool. Like, you can put this in white discussion, and then
Mhm.
Tom dropped it in one day. We're like, oh my god, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like he literally just dropped in, especially the guy speaking in that section, and it was just like fit perfectly.
Yeah,
It's
that's really
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the snare, hi-hat, and then busy chorus I have on here, and it's really cool because
Mhm.
again, just playing the song and just tasteful of what you're doing, and yeah,
Thank
man,
you.
just
Yeah, Larry Mullen again, right there with the hi-hat snare.
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's just, I mean, but you put your own style to it. You can hear that
Yeah.
inspiration, but it's definitely Chad Gracey on drums, and again, man, it was just such an inspirational album. Like this is when I got into you, and then I went back and listened to Mental Jewelry, and then obviously Secret Samadhi coming out next, but
Cool.
Here.
Distance to Here, and yeah, and it's just like it was like a lot of people's like 2112 were
Hmm.
like who's this Rush band, and they're like, oh, they have 4 albums prior to this, cool, I can go back.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
with you guys,
Yeah.
like, wait, they have other stuff, cool, we'll go
Right.
back and check all that out too, and just but yeah, just I was this inspired me a lot of how I played, from here
Cool.
on, and everything too. And just I know, J Ro tells us all the time that he's like, I don't think Chad understands how big of an influence he is, and I just want you to know like that, like you changed the way I looked at drums, played drums,
Oh, very cool. Well, thank you.
my
Yeah.
style, and you can be the tempo. Don't let someone tell you need to click and stuff like that, and
Mm.
so
Yeah.
I'll
I was
pick-
anti-click then. Sorry. Go ahead.
I will pick your CDs over any other band anytime, for
Oh,
sure.
cool.
yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and I'm glad I got to see you play in live when I did.
I
So,
didn't. I never did.
Oh yeah. When did
Yeah.
you see us? What?
2007.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
it
it.
was the state fair here.
Okay, now our local rock station KUPD, the main DJ Ron
yes,
Holmberg,
yes.
he said he always loved when you guys came to town, but doing interviews, they had to heavily edit Ed out because everything was fuck this, fuck that, and they always had to bleep him out.
That's funny. Yeah,
Did
Ed took over all interviews at that point because I don't know, he didn't want anybody else to be heard in the band. I don't, it's fucking weird, but anyway,
That's so sad.
what do you do?
Was he ever friends with Jeff Tate
Jeff Tate. I don't
from
know.
Queensryche? Because
Oh,
all the issues.
I don't think so.
You don't remember me discussing that
I
after
do.
we watched one of
I do.
the
Yeah.
shows? Yeah, I was like, God, was he friends with Jeff Tate?
Took cues from him.
Yeah.
No, let's not. I don't want to
know.
get into all that.
I know.
don't want to get into all
Yeah.
that. So, what do you what was your big takeaway when this really did start charting, as far as like personally? Like when you guys really started getting like big success, you played on the radio like all the time. I know you don't seem like the person to let it get to your head, but I'm just curious, like, people reaching out to you more, or like how that went, like the celebrity all of a sudden.
I didn't. I mean, we were very excited when Selling Drama came out, went #1, and that was friggin' badass. And saw our video and stuff, and heard the song on the radio. That was amazing.
Mhm.
And it was something that we hoped would happen.
Mhm.
we didn't know if it was going to, but it was something that we hoped would happen. Then I Alone kind of came out and didn't do as well selling a drama chart wise, but was again a great building song and is one of our best known singles to date. And then they built right into Lightning Crashes, and it was just like, I mean, as I said before, we were on this constant tour, so we were in this bubble the whole time. We were in this tour bubble. We knew we were playing bigger shows, and more people were coming to see us, and we were charting well. We could see the charts. We were, traveling better, whatever. We could see all those things. Sorry, and but when you're in the bubble like that, you don't realize what's going on like outside in the world. So when it became really apparent to me, even after we had toured Throwing Copper, Lightning Crashes was huge. I went home in this winter of '95 to Pennsylvania, and I went to my mom's cousin has a Christmas Eve party for the family every year. Still does it to this day. And so I'd been at this Christmas Eve party, I don't know, 20, 23 years straight, basically. And on that particular Christmas Eve party, I walked in the door and there was just a lot of new faces there. And I'm like, who the fuck are all these? I'm thinking, who are these people? And everyone's just like kind of staring at me. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden I get like basically pushed into this back room with all these, like my cousin, like my great cousins, whatever they are, like they brought all their friends over. And so I had all these weird faces I've never seen before just push me in this back room, and they're all like autographs, pictures. And I was just like, okay. Like, hey, I was here last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't like this.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew, like, well, shit, we crossed the Rubicon. We're fucking huge.
Yeah. It's the saying of, I didn't change, everyone else did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's usually how it goes. From what I've heard, as far as like, they started acting different, not me. Like they want now everyone wants to be around me, and because I'm in a big band and I'm still me, but
yeah.
So that right
it's a
there,
weird thing to take, and some people it goes to their head, and some people retain their like I try to. I mean,
yeah.
I never wanted to let it go to my head because like, yeah, I am the same person. I'm going to be that same person. I don't.
Yeah.
Just because I'm in this famous rock band and people know my name now, it's like I'm still the dork from York.
Dork from York. Hey guys, I just play the saxophone. I don't know what you're talking about now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just curious about, because I mean it happens that fast, with it.
Yeah.
And so I was just
you're in an environment where no one tells you no.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a big band like that, and when you're a younger band, like, oh no, you can't do that, we can't afford that, blah blah blah. When you're in a big band, it's like, oh, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Go get me this. Okay. It's everything's yes. And you're like, oh.
Was there ever anything extravagant that you would ask for on tour?
No brown M&Ms.
Yeah, no weird rider shit like that. But like, I don't know, we're bored. We're like, go get us. We're on tour for Throwing Copper. We're bored. We had these remote control cars. Go buy us, 100 D-cell batteries, shit like that, or whatever. But there was one thing where we were playing Red Rocks in Denver, summer '95, and we sold it out to the hilt, and the promoter, for whatever reason, decided not to do a second show, though we could have sold out. The ticket demand was there. And I forget how the controversy went down, but it was like this big to do, and everyone was pissed at the promoter. And so the next year we came through, or no, 2 years later we came through, we're doing Secret Samadhi tour. And to make up for not, no, actually, no, it was the same. No. So the day that we were supposed to put the second show, I'm sorry, the day we were supposed to do the second show, the promoter was so, he was trying to basically say he's sorry. He was so accommodating and wrapped up in this whole like, oh man, I'm sorry we didn't put on the second show, blah blah blah. So he was like, we can do anything. We'll have a party for you guys. We can do anything you want. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, so I don't know how the fuck we came up with it. We were like, let's do a petting zoo. Like made the guy bring in all these friggin' zoo animals and pets and shit. So we went to this big party at his house, and he had all these friggin' animals and stuff. We're like, okay. So that's kind of one of the most extravagant things I can think of that we did. But it was, the promoter trying to make up for
Yeah.
effing us on that second show.
Nice. Well, we thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Is there
you
anything you wanted?
great.
You said that you and CT are doing a podcast, possibly though.
We're working on that. Yes.
Cool.
Talking about it. And,
Awesome. That'll be cool.
like I said, the whole premise would be that whole spreadsheet that he has, and then all the archived performances and video. Like there's film, there's video, there's pictures, there's music, and so the podcast would basically be about where were we in January 2nd of 1992, like what were we doing that day? He literally has every day of our lives charted out for decades.
I bet now you're really glad he did that, right? Back then you're like, what are you doing this for? And now it's just like, oh, we're so glad you did that. That's
Yeah, he told me about the running thing he had going back in 2010 or so is when he told me about it. I was like, oh, what? You're doing that? And he kept it going.
That's awesome.
So it even has the gracious few in there and stuff. So
oh, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, nice. Well, we'll look forward to that. That'll be really cool. And we're glad you guys are doing stuff again. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You guys did the sit down on you did the playthrough on Lakini's Juice, and then you did the sit down and all that. That's really cool. And then obviously he was on the show a couple weeks ago and all that. So we're glad you guys are doing that.
Yeah, mending fences.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. And
absolutely.
Let us know when that comes out. We'll promote it as well. But we
for sure. Yeah.
Anything else coming up that you wanted to go over?
I mean, just
Gracious 2.
The Gracious 2 every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Sometimes
live.
Friday.
Sometimes, well, we've done some special shows here and there because we're trying to accommodate more guests, but so the Tuesday thing is sometimes hard to get guests onto that exact schedule. So, but that, and then check the YouTube. Check out my YouTube and Chad Gracey Live there. And now I'm on TikTok now, Chad Gracey Live as well. But doing some stuff on there.
Nice.
So yeah,
cool. Well, thank you for doing this.
We really appreciate
You're very welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, so that was our amazing conversation with Chad Gracey. We went over Olive Throwing Copper. This wasn't the 25th anniversary, though. That does have the added songs to it. This was just the original 94 release. Yeah. But it was fun getting the behind the scenes on it. I had a feeling he wouldn't know too much about the lyrics. It seemed like Ed kind of keeps that to himself as well, because he's like the interpretation kind of thing. I want everyone to have their own.
And even
idea.
so, because I love lyrics and music music helps you in great times, and it helps you in bad times. And yeah, I was completely honest that yes, he's one of the most prolific drummers and from one of the most prolific bands for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
They were my soundtrack for many, many years in the 90s.
90s, 2000s.
2000s.
Late 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, I saw them in 2007, so yeah.
You're so lucky you got to see them.
I know, that's what sucks really about like what's going on with everything, and because it's like you're getting to miss out on that. Like we could go see them, but I'm not going to go see a cover band, And real quick, I didn't go over at the beginning who was on it, but I have a little list real quick I wanted to go over. Ed Kowalczyk was the lead vocals, rhythm guitar. Chad Taylor, lead guitar, backing vocals. Patrick Dahlheimer on bass, and Chad Gracey drums, backing vocals. It was recorded at Pachyderm Studios in Cannon Falls, Minnesota. Produced by Jerry Harrison of Talking Heads. If you didn't know that, he played keys. Keys, guitar, and vocals with Talking Heads. Engineered and recorded by Lou Giordano. Mixed by the legend Tom Lord Alge, who has been on The Gracious 2. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. That was a lot of fun when he was on there. It was mastered by Ted Jensen. It was released April 26th of 1994, and as I said earlier, it reached #1 in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the U.S. And it was fun doing a little bit of the strip club talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a little bit. But
Breakfast,
I
lunch, and dinner,
that
huh?
that see, and like I said, you joke about it, but it was actually in a pretty good order now, wasn't it? But I did that too because him and J Ro were
You
talking
did
about it.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner too?
Yes. No, I brought that up because him and J Ro would talk about it quite a bit on the Gracious too. So I was like, that'll be fun to bring up. But yeah, it was just fun talking to him. He's one of my biggest inspirations. Like I always, anytime I would have like a playlist of songs, just to, play drums to and stuff, live was always on it. Every single one I've ever had live was always on it. And I just love playing to it. It's my style of playing, busy, just tasteful drums that play along to the song. The songs are so great. I mean, every time I listen to this album, I'm like, man, this is just
And it's not just that album.
no, it's not. They're
It's
all they're
Fundamental Jewelry.
yeah,
Secret Samadhi is amazing.
yes.
Distance to Here is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and it's just but I wanted to do this one specifically because this is where I had that like, oh man, these guys are this is live. Like you hear lightning crashes and all over, you're just like, this is the same band,
Yeah.
and then I Alone, like holy shit, and then Selling the Drama, like just like they have their own sound, but you could almost like be like, this is sounds like a different band too, just because of how good they do,
Hmm.
and just I don't know, I can't say enough high praises about it. And I don't want to make Chad uncomfortable, but it's like I wanted to be honest too. Like this is like you don't understand, dude. Like
Yeah.
pick your favorite album of all time, or your favorite band of all time. Like you're there. You're right up there with like Rush and Dream Theater and all those guys with me. Like they're like I was, live Beatles, Dream Theater, Rush, and Pantera would probably be like my top five
Right.
of bands of all time that I could just listen to anytime. And it's like it takes me to a certain moment in my life or a certain
Right.
time period of my life. Like I remember getting into them in the 90s, and I finally got to see them in 2007, and like
Took you back to playing the drums and
just
yeah.
I mean, and watching him live, I was like, because we didn't YouTube still wasn't a thing then, and definitely not in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's just like getting to watch him play these was just super cool. Like watching his energy, like oh my God, like I could feel that in the songs, but then again, you can also make fake that energy when you do mixing and mastering.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Like with that, there's no way you could just feel the energy from any of the live albums. And I don't know, just how it's just so cool that we get to to do this with,
Yeah.
sorry, Chad, but one of my drum heroes. Like
Right. Right.
you don't
Yeah. Yeah.
understand. Like it's just so cool that and me again, I'm a freaking duck on a pond. Like I'm just going crazy, but up top, I'm like, yeah, I'm playing it cool, but I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking Chad Gracey. Like, I was reading about him anything I could in Modern Drummer, and I think they even had like they would do like these whole things at the end of Modern Drummer where they would have like um the drum music in there, and they would
Hmm.
talk a little bit about. I remember reading about that, and you know just yeah, just super cool that we got to do this. So thank you, Chad.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
this has been awesome.
The music definitely means a lot to us.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing it before he came
Hmm.
on and stuff, and yeah.
I think, I mean, in California, especially because you could have CDs and cassettes and stuff in your car
Hmm.
without issue, and
You
not
couldn't anywhere else?
not here so much.
What do you mean?
Well, like cassettes, you really can't have a cassette in your vehicle in the summer here.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
but
yeah.
in California, especially, I always had one live CD
Oh,
in
I
my
had
rotation.
the whole folder thing with all my
Yeah,
CDs and stuff, and I would just carry it around with me. Yeah, but I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
and
Yeah. Did you ever think like
it like in
we would get to have
1994.
yeah,
Did I
94
never?
you that
Yeah,
we
no,
face
no,
to face with
yeah,
person really responsible for all that. Yeah, it was I mean, I haven't brought it up yet either, but like I've been texting him. We're talking through text now. I'm like,
yeah.
if I went back and told my 13-year-old self in 94 like, "Hey, you know what you're going to get to do in your,
In 2025.
2025, you're going to
Yeah,
be emailing and texting and Instagramming with you know,
One of your
my
inspirations.
inspiration,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, yeah, right. You're an idiot. Stupid. You won't be able to do that. And
Yeah.
no, here we are. So, and again, just huge thanks
Yeah.
to be able to do this and, yeah, hear the stories of, and a lot of the stuff like at the end with, what was his take with the celebrity of it was kind of just, I didn't write that down. It just came to me at the end. Like, I do wonder, and that story that he told sums it up. Like, I've been going to this Christmas party for 23 years now. All of a sudden, I'm backed into not back. I don't want to use the term backed into a corner, but put into
Right.
a separate room, and all these people like ask for autographs and pictures and all this. Like, whoa, I was here last year. This didn't happen. Like
Right.
that,
Yeah.
just one of those like holy shit moments. Like, okay, things are different. Things are a
Yeah.
little different now, and just because I didn't get to experience that, and if I can ask someone how that went, how they took that, like that's a lot. That's a lot to take on,
Mhm.
something like that, and the fact that he's the way he is now, just
So cool.
inspiring.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening to this and
Intro and outro music is provided by Arizona Prog Band.
prog metal band.
Prog metal band Temporal
Temporal Displacement.
Displacement. You can find their music anywhere you listen to your favorite music. If you have any questions, email us at drummingupconversation@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Drumming Up Conversation. And you can find us on X at Drum Conversing, although we don't do a whole lot on X.
No, I need to do more.
Yeah.
There's-
We need someone to teach us.
I just need, yeah.
Yeah.
So that second person to help. Like, okay, you handle these two, I'll handle those
Yeah.
two.
You can find our podcasts on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you listen or watch your favorite podcasts. Don't forget to download our episodes, give us a rating, review, tell a friend, pass it around, pass it on. It just helps us.
And listen to the Gracious too every Tuesday.
Yes.
Some like you said, sometimes Friday. They're hilarious.
Yep.
And you heard Chad, like J Rose just so
He's such a good guy.
good guy as far as like if he needs to or whatever, he'll just throw a quick like oh shit like oh my god like or whatever, just quick joke. It helps it's helped me so many times. I'll just start like laughing out loud, and like I'll be when I was working and stuff, I'd just laugh there. And when I was out of work, I'd have that to look forward to on Tuesdays, just to like cool, I'll get to hang out with my friends and watch it or
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, so they're approaching episode 100.
Wow.
They said they're gonna
That's
have
awesome.
something fun for 100. So
Cool.
I'm very excited to see what comes out of that. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
definitely check out everything Chad did and
Yep.
does, and
YouTube videos.
yeah,
Go back and watch the old MTV Unplugged.
yeah, it's on Paramount.
So good.
It's really cool
So
to
good.
watch that. Just young, hungry live. Just,
Yeah. Yep.
just promoting the Throwing Copper album and everything.
Yep.
That was fun to watch. Just flipping through like, oh, what band's on live? We just clicked right
Yep.
on it and just like,
Yep.
all right, cool. Well, we were cooking at the time. We're just like, cool, we'll cook. We'll have
And we would stop. We'd
yeah.
leave the kitchen, come stand in front of the TV, like, oh my god, oh my god.
I sent a couple
Yeah.
pictures to J-Ro, like, look, it's
Baby
baby
Gracey.
Gracie. And he's like, where are you watching this? And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's on Paramount. I was like, holy shit, man. I was like, yeah, it's really cool just to see him, doing that.
Yeah.
And just, and I'm sitting there watching him play, and I was like, God, we play very similarly.
Similarly.
And yeah.
Awesome.
So. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We know this went a little longer than some of ours, and went shorter than some too. But thank you for watching and listening. We really appreciate it. Again, tell your friends, reach out to us if you want to do anything. If there's like an album you want to talk about that changed your life or that's inspired you, reach out to us. drummingupconversation@gmail.com or on any of our socials. We will get back to you. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. We're doing this on a Saturday. We're having an in-studio guest tomorrow. That'll be the next episode after this one. But thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. For Drumming Up Conversation, I'm Justin Wood.
I'm Andrea Wood.
No mercy.
Drumming up conversation.